Tonight on CTV, new sexual harassment accusations in the ASCSU. Then, the information you need to know about Fort Collins City Council's new climate plan.
Then, is this the beginning of the end for COVID-19? Find out more information about the large doses of the coronavirus vaccines coming to Colorado.
That's here on CTV Channel 11.
Good evening, Rams. I am Weston Hubbard.
And I'm Kenneth Frederick. Our top story tonight. This week, the ASCSU is dealing with allegations of sexual harassment against one of its senators. In their meeting last night, they discussed the incident and the importance of how they handle the situation. Senator Miles Robinson of the Student Disability Center has been accused of sexual harassment in an Instagram post she shared 2 days ago. In a public statement, Robinson admitted to making inappropriate comments on one of his coworkers' posts back in September of last year. As part of their response to the accusations, the Student Disability Center said it's important for their members to act ethically and show accountability. As the topic turned towards a broader discussion on rape culture, the SDC stressed the importance of believing survivors' experiences and feelings. Robinson also talked about how he was taking steps to learn from his actions and following the requirements that the SDC has made for him. The ASCSU also released an official statement in last night's meeting, denouncing rape culture and announcing their own investigation into the matter.
First and foremost, we want to say we believe survivors. No matter the severity, no matter the situation, we believe you. We encourage you to come forward and seek help. You matter. Secondly, we, the Senate leadership team, the legislative branch, and associated students of Colorado State University, do not support rape culture. We are an organization designed to represent, advocate for, and serve students. We'll be doing everything in our power to stand with and by survivors.
Senator Robinson previously announced his candidacy for the Speaker of the Senate position in the upcoming election. But at this time, it is uncertain if he will stay in the race or not. We here at CTV will be sure to keep you updated on the situation.
Starting on Friday, March 19th, Colorado will be moving to Phase 1B4 in its COVID-19 vaccination plans, which will allow even more members of the general public to receive it. And with all these new eligible residents, Colorado has made sure to up its stock on the vaccines. Governor Jared Polis was reported by the Coloradan that after speaking to the White House, he expects around 3,000 extra doses of the vaccine next week, and following that statement, expects around shipments of 400,000 per week by the end of April. About 22% of the population is considered to have immunity to COVID-19, either through past exposure or from being vaccinated. Regardless, positive news in the COVID-19 section seems to be more abundant than ever, and we will hopefully see an end for it in sight to this pandemic sooner rather than later.
By 2030, we can expect to see 100% renewable energy and waste reduction. The ambitious plan also includes an 80% reduction to our carbon emissions. This, of course, is all about the Fort Collins City Council Climate Future Plan that we told you about 2 weeks ago. Well, now the action plan has been completely adopted in a 6-1 vote held on Tuesday night. Before the plan was adopted, amendments were made to include the city's plan to combat IPPU, or industrial process and product use. This helps the city put a greater focus on greenhouse gases emitted during the industrial operations. Councilwoman Melanie Patyandi said, we're a leading cause of gas emissions. The council stressed heavily that they were going to do all they could to collect and respond to community feedback, which they said was a key part of the program.
Part of the point of this plan is to expand the audience of the feedback, to make sure that we're getting feedback from minority communities, from indigenous people, from others. So I think that is significant in this plan.
The plan will also include a 2-year review cycle, which they will take in community feedback and look at the goals being set for 2030.
The past few Thursdays, we talked about the Dante Lucas case, and while that one has come to an end, there are more missing people out there, including none other than Katrina Nazat. She's a 14-year-old girl last spotted in Fort Collins, Colorado. That last spotting was all the way back in January 11th, as reported by the FBI. The people working at the case believe she may have left home voluntarily. She's about 5'2" in height and was last seen with brown hair and hazel eyes. However, if anyone you know has any information on the whereabouts of Katrina or you have any useful information, you can contact Fort Collins Police Services at 970-419-3273.
Nearly a week after the spring storm that brought 20 inches of snow to Fort Collins, remnants of branches, ice, and other leftover debris still stand around town. Many are left wondering, when will it all be cleared? The city did release a statement on Tuesday via Facebook stating, quote, "The street department is experiencing a significant amount of calls and is working to address issues as quickly as possible," end quote. As of Wednesday, 65% of all residential streets were cleared, and Thursday morning, crews finished cleaning the remaining roads. However, city sidewalks in the downtown areas will take additional amounts of time, beginning Wednesday night. The city has asked that you only call the street department in a case of an emergency.
Man, this snow was terrifying. It absolutely was just such a weird experience, so I'm glad that it's, dying down.
No, absolutely. I completely hate the cold. I cannot wait for warmer weather.
Oh, me too. Certain land uses of gas and oil have been put to a temporary halt as of Tuesday, March 16th until Thursday, April 15th. This halt comes after a vote for permission from 3 commissioners of 3-0 passed as the county is trying to revise certain regulations and rules that have been set in place. Some citizens want the regulations to be stricter, citing areas of poor air quality in certain areas and other environmental concerns that they need to feel be addressed before the use of gas and oil can continue. As of now, a complete decision has yet to be reached, but as we mentioned, they do have until April 15th to come to a conclusion.
State auditors have made heavy criticism against Colorado's Labor Department for its mishandling tracking of unemployment payouts. The problem started with the sudden increase of 1,500% in unemployment claims due to the pandemic. That caused a backlog in the recordings of how much had been owed to state residents. This led to a huge overspending problem. The Department of Labor estimated there were $2.1 billion worth of overpayments in the 2020 fiscal year. Auditors, however, railed against the department's estimate due to their poor records and procedures. The auditors estimate that it was a little closer to $600 million, but they said that even that number wasn't for sure. To fix the issue going forward, the Department of Labor has promised to implement all of the auditors' suggestions and increase its accounting staff by this time of next year.
That was a great news segment. Stick around, Rams, because we have your local weather with Morgan Gardner up next.
That's here on CTV.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here's about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Morgan Gardner, here to give you the rundown on the weather. Right now, we're sitting at 37 degrees, a little bit of clouds out there, but nothing too crazy. A little bit of wind, southwest 2 miles an hour, and a little bit of humidity out there, but won't be seeing any rain or snow this evening. And as we go into overnight lows, we're seeing a lot of the same, lower 20s, upper 20s throughout the state, except for Grand Junction, which is up there at 37 degrees. And across I-25, we're seeing 28 and 29, Denver 28, Colorado Springs 28, and Pueblo at 29. Lamar sitting at 28 over there. And as we go into tomorrow's highs, we're seeing a lot of the same as we saw today, upper 50s, Vail over there at 47 degrees. Again, Grand Junction sitting over there at 68 degrees, luckily getting the spring weather there. And along I-25, again, we're seeing a lot of the same. So Denver 54, Colorado Springs 55, and Pueblo at 61. And as we go into tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be sunny, finally, sitting at 52 degrees tomorrow with a low of 31 degrees. Little bit of wind, but again, clear and sunny skies all the way, hopefully melting a little bit of that snow. Sunrise at 7:04 and sunset at 7:11. And as we go into the 5-day forecast, you can see that it's going to be really warm, except for weird variability on Sunday and Monday. We have a chance of snow, but it won't be anything too crazy. Nothing is going to stick to the ground there. But on Friday, we're going to see 52, 31, Saturday at 60 and 30. Definitely the warmest day of the week, but again, we see a dip down to 46 on Sunday. And finally, getting into that spring weather on Saturday is the first day of spring. I'm so glad that we're finally going to be getting into some warm weather, because digging my car out of 3 feet of snow was not fun. So with that, that is all the weather I have for you tonight. Rams, a little bit of a quick one tonight, but stick around after the break for more news and a rundown in sports.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
Welcome back from the break, Grams.
There's more news, so let's jump right in. Fort Collins is welcoming a new fire chief at the Poudre Fire Authority. After more than 12 years as chief of the Rockford Fire Department, Derek Bergeston has accepted this new position. Bergeston worked at the Rockford team for 27 years and stated, quote, "The Rockford Fire Department is a large part of my family, and saying goodbye to this department and its people will be extremely difficult," end quote. In January of 2020, he was named Fire Chief of the Year by the Illinois Fire Chief Association. His last day with the Rockford Department will be on May 7th of 2021. The date for when he will start his new position here in Fort Collins, however, has not been released. However, we'll continue to update you as we receive more information.
Continuing on news about the Poudre, last week we talked about the Poudre School District's decision to put kids back into school, to the dismay of some students. However, another controversy has arisen as the school district is to continue only doing limited busing options despite bringing all students back into school. According to the Colorado School District spokesperson, Madeline Noblet said that there were two main reasons as to why busing would not return to normal. Mainly that being that bus driver shortages are there, as well as the following health protocols. Parents worry about the situation and what picking up and dropping off students will look like with a higher amount of parents there and the traffic. But as of now, it does not look like Poudre School District has any plans to change this decision. But now we go to Samantha Medley to hear about how a former CSU football stadium, HUGHES Stadium, has made its way onto the ballot.
Thanks, Weston. The Fort Collins municipal election is right around the corner, and one of the issues on the ballot is over what to do with the former HUGHES Stadium property.
You know, there's so much passion about this particular issue, and as shown by the one person who showed up on the other side, it is not just on those that are for this, but I think that there's passion all around it. I don't think anyone will have too much trouble finding it on the ballot because it'll be pretty obvious that that's what people are voting on.
The original plan was to turn this historic stadium into a neighborhood consisting of approximately 462 homes, as well as 172 apartments. But an opposition group called Paths came together and raised over 8,000 signatures to get this issue on the ballot back in November of 2020. The goal of Paths is to keep the area an open space for sustainability purposes.
So the PAS organization was sort of a formalization that was put in place in part to launch the ballot measure. So it was sort of a formalization to initiate the ballot measure and sort of give an identity to the organization.
Fort Collins residents will be able to vote on this issue during the election on April 6th. Back to you, Weston.
Thanks for all that info, Samantha. We do appreciate it. Last week, we covered a man by the name of Nate Washam who suffered from a rare disease triggered by COVID-19 called HLH. His friends and family organized him a blood drive that would take donations of all kind in order to help those suffering from the disease as well as other illnesses. The original date was this past Saturday, the 13th of March. However, due to complications with the weather, the event was postponed until Friday, April 2nd from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the same location, the UC Health Garth England Blood Center. Hopefully Mr. Washam, as well as others affected by this disease, can get some help and support that they very much need.
In the next few months, new and independent commissions will be working to reconstruct the congressional and legislative districts here in Colorado. The new format will include an even number of Democratic, Republican, and unaffiliated members, totaling 12 commissioners. However, the requirements allowing someone to be voted in are very strict, as both political insiders and lobbyists are not allowed to be members, as well as other rules that are set in place to keep the team non-biased. According to Amanda Gonzalez, the executive director of the Colorado Common Cause, quote, "This is the first time that officially regular people have control of the process, and they'll be picking their politicians, not the other way around."
Well, Rams, that is all the news that we have for you tonight.
But stick around. We got the second season of The Blitz with Cameron Evig here on CTV Channel 11.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
How's it going, Rant fans? Welcome back to your Thursday night sports show, The Blitz Season 2. I'm Cameron Evig, filling in for Brendan Fairbairn tonight to get you up to date on everything going on in the world of Colorado sports. Tonight, we'll dribble into some Hoops action to preview the CSU's opening matchup in the NIT before sliding onto the ice and an update on how the Avalanche are looking as the postseason gets closer and closer. With that all being said, let's jump right into it. Coming off their best conference record ever, it was surely disappointing for Ram fans everywhere when Coach Medved's squad found themselves on the outside looking in for the spot in the upcoming NCAA tournament. But while Selection Sunday may not have been a win for the CSU faithful, the afternoon wasn't a total loss either, with the Rams being recognized as the #1 seed in the storied National Invitation Tournament. And hey, look at it this way. With the placement, CSU has made their first postseason appearance since the 2016-2017 season, a far cry from the team's 12-20 mark in Medved's first year back on campus. And with no seniors on this band of hoopers, any type of postseason play is foreign ground for each and every Ram. Speaking to CSU's inexperience in this type of situation, junior forward Adam Thistlewood said, "I've never been in this situation before, but I'm super excited that we at least get some postseason play. As time goes on, the next couple of days, we're going to realize how important this tournament is to us." End quote. Moving on to the first round matchup at hand, throughout nearly 120 years of Ram basketball, CSU has only faced Buffalo one time before, all the way back in 2008. Making this rare matchup between the teams across the country a real exciting one to watch. Looking at some players to keep your eye out for, the duel at forward between Colorado State's David Roddy and Buffalo's Josh Mballa. Ram fans are well aware of number 21's impact on the court throughout the 2021 season. As only a sophomore, he was awarded All Mountain West first team picked, thanks to leading his team with 16.1 points and 9.5 rebounds per game. If the 6'5" forward can impose his will inside on the boards, the Bulls will be in for a long one. On the imposing side, Buffalo's Josh Mballa won't be an easy obstacle to overcome either. Like Roddy, the junior led the team when it came to getting to the rack and rebounding, averaging 15.5 points per game and 10.9 boards throughout the season. And on the defensive end, the 6'7" freak was just as dominant, earning the honors as MAC Defensive Player of the Year and being nominated for the Lefty Dressel Award, which is given to the top defensive player in all of college basketball. David Roddy and the rest of the Rams will take on Josh Mballa and the Bulls in Dallas-Fort Worth tomorrow at 5 p.m. to reverse the tournament misfortunes in NIT play, or to see if this marks another early exit. Sliding from the court onto the ice, while the Avalanche may not have any fans in the stand this year, the Ball Arena was far from silent Tuesday night when the Avalanche beat the Anaheim Ducks 8-4. With how it ended up, you might not expect a slow start from the guys from Colorado, but that's exactly how this one started. By the end of the 20-minute mark, the Avs were already in a 4-2 hole, with backup first-year goalie Hunter Mishka letting out 4 of 7 shots before being replaced by usual keeper Philip Grubauer. But past the ongoing struggles for the rookie goaltender, letting in 18 shots in his last 5 games alone, the Avs offense fired on all cylinders, especially after the switch at goalie. After the disappointing first period, Colorado rallied back and scored 6 goals against the Ducks in the last 2 segments of action. Like you might expect, the team's leader in goals, right-wing Mikko Rantanen, kept up his high level of play, starting the rally with his 14th goal on the season, while center Nazim Kadri also tore it up with 2 points of his own. In the end, replacing Mishka with Grubauer proved to be the right call for the Avalanche head coach Jared Bednar, shutting out the Ducks with 15 saves throughout the year. The veteran has kept once again to prove to be a force to be reckoned with, saving over 90% of shots and being the starter for 16 out of 17 Colorado wins. That's the second highest mark in the NHL. But even with the win, once the Stanley Cup playoffs hit, the Avs can't rely on scoring 8 goals to get it done. Colorado fans better hope that their team figures out what to do with this defensive hole before the end of the regular season. Well, Ram fans, that's all the action I have for you tonight, but don't go anywhere. Tom Isaacson is up next to give you everything you need to know about the world of entertainment.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hey, how's it going, Rams? I'm Tom Isaacson, and tonight I have got some great stuff lined up to fill you in on the world of entertainment. So let's get started. And tonight we start with one of Fort Collins' favorite music events, FOCO MX, which is one of the greatest showcases of local music in town. FOCO MX this year has not been canceled, just moved back. Originally planned for April 23rd through the 24th, the Fort Collins Musicians Association has decided that it will be doing shows in the fall instead. On April 23rd, however, they will still be doing a virtual festival on their website to showcase up-and-coming artists. I'm just glad to hear it wasn't fully canceled. As we all know, texting and typing can be difficult. I know I have typos all the time. Well, this brewery had a typo that was quite unfortunate. An accident in their can labeling had Snowbank Brewing raising eyebrows this week as 7,000 beer cans accidentally said seal salt and lime instead of sea salt. Co-owner Dave Rosso jokes with consumers that, quote, no seals were harmed in the making of the new Aper ski lager, end quote. That is pretty hysterical. Now, I am a nerd when it comes to vinyl records, have been for a while. But what is the use of a vinyl record when you can just look about any song you want on your phone? Well, this is what I learned from the owner of All Sales Vinyl.
It's 2021. Where you can look up any song you want straight from your phone. So why is it then that vinyl records are coming back in such high demand?
Records are a whole different thing. So even though you can download 1 million songs and everything, I think you tend to lose the connection. With an album, it's kind of a ritual. You gotta pull out the sleeve, you get to look at everything that's on there, you got all that great artwork.
Michael Fogarty, owner of All Sales Vinyl in Old Town, runs the shop to bring back the old ways.
Well, vinyl captures the music in a different way. When things are recorded digitally, you've got zeros and ones, and so they're taking out, you get rid of the noise, but you also lose the breath of a vocalist. You lose the way the guy strikes a string.
Vinyl is coming back, as many people echo Michael's belief. Some, of course, might be your nostalgic dad. Others want to experience the magic for the first time.
We've got two distinct, separate age groups, really. We've got your age group, college, high school. So that's 50% of the business right there. And then the other half is probably more my age.
Music can be enjoyed in so many ways, but it seems the old ways can still be fun.
You know, people bring in their used, and I get to go back nostalgia-wise. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that album. I remember when I sold it at a record store 20 years ago. You get to hear new stuff all the time. It's like Christmas, every new release date.
Like I said, I am a huge nerd for vinyl. Being in the shop, getting to see some of the old classic stuff, and even rare records that had songs that never got released to the public. There were some that were worth over $800 for a record. That's pretty cool, at least to me. Moving on, addiction is a tough topic, and it can be hard to find help. But this Fort Collins resident is looking to change the scope of fighting addiction. Millie Mitchell, organizer and founder of the Aluminum Alchemist, has been collecting cans to be donated in exchange for money to help fund addiction and recovery services. She was inspired by her son's struggle to battle addiction and how it was difficult for him to receive the help he needed. And this year, she plans to raise money for Garcia House at Summit Stone Health Partners. Really inspiring stuff. Okay, did you notice that it snowed? I think we all noticed that it snowed because it snowed a lot. Well, I went on the internet this week looking for some great footage of the snow, and I found this. The only things I felt while watching this clip were confusion and joy, because that is really cute, but that is the last environment you expect to see a lion in. Still pretty cute stuff though, and I'm glad to see the Denver Zoo is still having a little bit of fun. And with all of that, Rams, we are out of time. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Be sure to check out the sports show on Monday. My name is Tom Isaacson. Have a great night.